Welcome. Before we begin, I want to invite you to pause for just a moment. Take a deep breath in. Ha, 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 and take a deep breath out. Now ask yourself this question and be honest. Is the life I'm building actually being supported by the relationships I'm choosing? Let me ask that again. Is the life I'm building actually being supported by the relationships I'm choosing? Because here's something most entrepreneurs never get taught. You know that your strategy matters. You know that your systems matter. You know that even your mindset matters. But do you know that the nervous system you bring home at night and that you operate at night is the same nervous system that you'll lead with the next day? So if your relationships after work are dysregulated, when you wake up and go to work, eventually it will catch up with you, if not that day, and your leadership will be dysregulated too. Today's masterclass is about something far deeper than dating, far deeper than even the word love, and definitely far deeper than just personal development or mindset. This is deeper. This goes to the core of your identity, because the patterns you repeat in relationships are the same patterns shaping how you lead, how you set boundaries or don't set boundaries, how you tolerate pressure or handle it, how you might burn out, how you might shut down, how you might scale, how might you succeed. So we need to consciously look at what patterns that you're running on. Whether you know it or not, they're there. And especially when you're running on fumes, they're definitely running the show. They will quietly determine both your happiness and your capacity and your energy. So in today's masterclass, you're going to learn, 1, how childhood programming shows up in entrepreneurial relationships. What? Yes. How childhood programming shows up in entrepreneurial relationships at home and at work. 2, why certain people feel familiar even when they aren't good for you. Why people not only feel familiar, but through that familiarity, you feel that there's comfort even when they're not good for you. What? Comfort when they're not good for you? Yes. Stay tuned. Listen in. This is what you want to wake up to so that you can choose for you. Number 3, the exact identity shifts that attract secure, aligned, and supportive love. And number 4, how healthy relationships directly accelerate your business success. Yes, your relationships outside of work can directly accelerate your business success. So you're going to walk away with tools to 1, recognize your patterns, 2, regulate your nervous system, 3, shift your identity, 4, begin choosing relationships for your future now, and stop living from the past. This isn't about fixing you. This is about freeing you. Because you're not here to repeat old stories. You're here to grow, to learn, to expand, and build a life and a business that actually feels good. Feels good to run, feels good to be a part of, feels good to live in. Let's begin. So I want to start with part 1. Let's break this down. Why entrepreneurs carry invisible patterns into love. Let me share something I learned the hard way. For a long time, I thought I was choosing relationships consciously. I thought it was intentional, self-aware, evolved, and yet I kept ending up in versions of the same emotional experience. I was highly capable in business and not so capable in love. Felt confusing and insecure and confusing. So eventually I realized something that changed everything. We don't fall in love with people. We fall in love with nervous system patterns, things that feel familiar. Your mind, your subconscious mind, tries to keep you in what feels familiar, even when it's not good for you. So most entrepreneurs learn very early, be responsible, be capable, be strong, don't need too much, don't fall apart, hold it together. That wiring creates incredible leaders. to start, and deeply complicated lovers to end. Because the strategies that kept you safe as a child become your operating system in adulthood, but they don't keep you where you want to go or take you where you want to go. They keep you where you used to be. So let's call them SOPs, but not standard. Let's call them stuck operating procedures. We want to hop into HOP, healthy operating procedures. So let me show you the 3 most common patterns I see in entrepreneurs. Pattern 1 is the overfunctioner. That was me for many years, and if I'm not careful, I slip back into it. Conscious awareness is so important. You will lead early, you provide, you fix, you anticipate. And in business, you carry the team. You prevent collapse, you avoid obstacles, you hold it all together. You avoid anything that you can avoid that's painful. You can look out 20 different directions, 20 steps out to avoid something that might harm the business or your people or your clients. In love, you overgive. You emotionally lead. You choose people who need you. You usually end up feeling quite exhausted, but needed, so you keep doing it. The core belief that an overfunctioner has is love is something I earn by being useful. Does that sound familiar to you? Let's talk about the second type, pattern 2, the self-sufficient high performer. You learned, don't ask, don't rely on anybody, don't show any needs. In business, you're independent, efficient. And in love, you avoid vulnerability. You struggle to receive it. You choose emotionally distant partners. Or even if you don't, you're the emotionally distant one. And even though you might be surrounded by people, you feel lonely inside. True intimacy is hard for you. And your core belief, meeting someone is dangerous. Does that resonate with you? Perhaps they both do. Let's talk about the next pattern. Pattern 3, the validation chaser. You learned approval equals safety. Being chosen equals worth. In business, you are so achievement driven and you're externally focused. You can see opportunities a mile away. In love, you're also looking miles away. You chase unavailable partners or ones that aren't healthy. You confuse chemistry with connection, and you fear abandonment deeply. Your core belief, if I'm chosen, then I'm worthy. Then I'll be enough. I laugh a little bit because for the longest time, I was all 3. And maybe you are too. But that's not the true you. So let's figure out why those are there, how to get rid of them so that you can live and feel more free and light. Because here's the part that matters. These are not who you are. These are not personality traits. They're just nervous system survival strategies that you came up with. You did the best you could as a kiddo, right? It's just you never knew that that's what was running your system. Those stuck operating procedures were holding you back. But the good news is you can upgrade them, and we're going to do that today. Because they'll shape not only how you love, but also how you lead. So I think I need to explain first, because you might be, yeah, those sound like me. And you've read so many books and you've done so many things. If you want to talk more about it, if you want to figure out how to unlock yourself, come visit me at unlocklimitlessyou.com/call. We'll have a free discovery call. We'll get started, but keep listening. Let me explain a few things, because I think knowledge is power. And I want you to know in part 2 of our conversation today, why you keep choosing what isn't good for you, right? I have so many people that have talked to me and said, I know it, Yvonne, but I can't embody a change. This is why. This might be the most important thing I share with you today. Your nervous system is choosing your partners long before your conscious mind is. It's always asking one question, not audibly, but underneath. Who feels familiar enough to predict? I'm not saying who feels familiar enough for me to be healthy and become healthier, to predict. Who's predictable? What is my system familiar with? Because then I know how to operate in that. I've survived that. Here's the painful part. In love, childhood, your love in childhood could have been inconsistent. You could have had busy parents. Not like we're beating anybody up. Everybody is doing the best they could. As a child, though, you have to make meaning of your world, especially if you don't have an adult that's talking to you about what's going on and what it means about you and what it doesn't. They might not have been taught that. 95%, I will say, didn't know that. So if your parents or your caregivers or your community, if they weren't emotionally available, if they were critical or judgmental, if things felt chaotic or love felt conditional, then stability, the opposite of those things, feels foreign. And consistency, if you didn't have it before, that unconditional love being consistent feels suspicious. And if you had an intense environment, maybe your parents fought a lot, maybe there was a lot of stress, right? That kind of intensity, because that's familiar, that will feel like love. It's crazy, but it's true. Familiarity is more important to your subconscious mind because then it is predictable. Because if you've survived it, you can continue to survive it. So it doesn't want change because it doesn't understand that change might bring opportunity for growth. It fears it will bring demise or uncertainty, and it doesn't want that. It doesn't care if you're happy or sad. It just wants you alive. So let me just step back a moment. I remember realizing this in my own life when I finally noticed something quite simple. The people I felt the strongest chemistry with were the people who activated my nervous system the most. My body was saying, this feels like something I recognize. And here's the rule I want you to remember. That attraction that your body says, yes, I recognize that. It's a magnet to be familiar. I'm going to go towards that thing. Does not necessarily equate to desire. Does not equate to love. It's just recognition. So unless you want to repeat the past, we have to really leverage new healthy operating procedures, right? So that you can choose to attract the future that you want. So let me give you a tool that you can immediately use to do this. This is what I call the after effect check. Say you meet somebody. Instead of asking, do I like this person? Right? Quite often our mind will be like, oh, they're very attractive, or oh, they're very successful, or oh, they're whatever they are, right? And that's why you think you like them. I want you to ask this. How do I feel after some time after being with them? So after you've spent time with them, do you feel calm or anxious? Do you feel clear or confused? Do you feel grounded or activated? Do you feel expanded, like you're growing, you're learning? Or do you feel contracted? Quite often, our body will generate this excitement in the beginning. But excitement can be confused with desire and love. And that's very short term. Just like if you in your business, you go up and down, really success, and then you hit lows. Patterns, guys, they're the same. So in your business, do you want really high highs and really low lows? Or do you want to find the level that's right for you and flow? Be in flow, peacefully, prosperous, happy, calm. It's yours to choose. So let's get back to love, but I want you to be seeing these patterns both in love, personal, and in business. So aligned love will leave you feeling clear, safe, steady. Your nervous system feels balanced, feels regulated, and you feel like, wow, you feel more like yourself and that you can be yourself. That's true love or true connection. Trauma bonded love, whether you think you have trauma or not, or unhealthy love. And if it's unhealthy love, I don't really think it's love, but we'll just say unhealthy connection. You'll be overthinking. Is he going to call me? What did she think about what I said? Whatever it is that you overthink about, it'll leave you activated or like stimulated in not a good way. It will leave you feeling uncertain. It will leave you feeling unsure, maybe self-doubting. Are they going to choose me? Am I pretty enough? Am I successful enough? Am I handsome enough? Am I sexy enough? Am I whatever enough? So let's go back to the question, because this is going to change how you date, how you partner, and how you lead. How do I feel after? Same in your business. If it's aligned to your purpose, you're also going to feel regulated, clear, steady, like you can be yourself and you're in your flow. If it's not aligned, you're going to be overthinking. You're going to be activated or anxious. You're going to be uncertain. You're going to self-doubt. These are the same, guys. We're human beings. It's all about relating. And what you'll learn is the reason it's the same, whether you relate to a person in a relationship or to your business, because it has nothing to do with the business or the relationship, and it has everything to do with the relationship you have with yourself. So we want to feel calm, clear, grounded, like we're expanding. We're becoming more of who we're created to be, and it doesn't feel painful. It might feel exciting or challenging. And at the same time, it feels like growth. You know, like when you go to the gym and you lift weights and your muscles are sore, but you're like, oh yeah, that's a good sore, because you know you're growing and it's not a sharp pain. I want you to think of this growth as the same thing. Right? When you grow, when you change, when you expand, there can be a little discomfort, but you know it comes with growth. It's not a sharp pain. It's not an injury. It's not holding you back. So in part 3, what I want to teach you or share with you, invite you to consider, because guys, I'm not omniscient. I am here to plant seeds and to help you water them and nurture them. And I want to talk to you about how relationship patterns shape your leadership. This is where a lot of entrepreneurs that I work with at Limitless You have their biggest breakthrough. Remember how we talked about the different types, the overfunctioner, for example, how it becomes your leadership style? Let's put it together now. So remember when I talked about the overfunctioner in love? If you overfunction in business, you tend to micromanage, you rescue, you step in rather than letting others learn. You avoid delegation because they can't do it as good as you, or at least you don't think so. You got to control it. And you burn out quietly at first and then not so quietly after it builds up. If you avoid vulnerability and love, you'll also isolate at the top. You don't ask for help. You carry everything alone, and you make decisions in emotional isolation. If you're the validation chaser, you also chase it in business. Revenue equals worth. Growth equals safety. Success equals identity. You're finally enough. Here's the cost with it all. You can see dysregulated relationships create dysregulated leadership. Why does that matter? You're like, whatever, Yvonne, this is my entrepreneurial edge. I've heard this say, but that's also going to be your fast path to an entrepreneurial early grave. Along the way, you'll be making poor decisions. You will reduce your creativity. You'll be emotionally reactive. You'll burn out. You'll have either low-grade or high-grade inflammation in your body, causing dis-ease, potentially disease. And not only will your vision be shortened, your life will be shortened. So this isn't a nice to have. This isn't when you have a good year or when you're finally in a relationship. This is a now thing, guys. If you want to increase your longevity, this is a now thing. Don't wait. I was going to wait until my kids were out of college when I first made my choice to regulate my system and my life. I was going to wait 10 years. Waiting 10 years could have taken 20 to 30 years off my life. Definitely been a lot less enjoyable and a lot less happier and a lot less successful on the inside. So don't wait. This is where we start today. This is the part 4, the identity shift that changes everything. This is where your real transformation, this lasting, begins. You're not going to attract healthier love by dating harder or hustling for a season, as I've heard it say in business, by spending more hours on the apps. You're going to attract it by becoming you, the you that has a stable nervous system, the one that has a different nervous system identity, the one that's not stuck in fight, flight, or freeze, the one that is calm and balanced, aligned with your inner core, who you truly are, who you want to become from the inside out. Aligned love does not arrive through performance. It arrives through this regulation I'm talking about, by understanding how is your body feeling, what is familiar versus what is fun, what is stressed versus what is truly exciting. You learn when you can find your peace, and in your peace we'll find your power and your passion. So here are the 4 shifts that'll change everything. Shift 1, from chemistry to safety. So remember this question: does this person calm my nervous system? And you might not know if you have wounds or not, but we want to make sure they're not just stimulating old wounds that keep perpetuating the pattern. Does this person truly calm my nervous system? Not just in the moment, but even when they're not there after. Begin to choose calm over intensity, consistency over mystery, safety over temporary excitement. There can be passion. Of course, there can be passion. I want that to be true passion, not just something mistaken for it. So here's the second shift: to go from overfunctioning to reciprocity. This is one I want you to spend some time with. That's one I've been working on, because if you think about, if you know the word codependency, I highly recommend reading this book called The New Codependency by Melanie Beattie. It's just eye-opening for people that are over-functioning and over-giving. This shift is, if I'm doing most of the emotional labor, it's not aligned love. And this isn't about tit for tat or who's doing more or what's fair. This is about how you're feeling Do you want to do what you're doing? Can you do it even if you don't get anything in return, without resentment, without judgment, right? So healthy love has this balance. Sometimes you do want to do things and you are giving and you're doing it without any kind of expectation. And also you're receiving. You're receiving when you need it. You're receiving when you don't need it. It's this beautiful generosity that's coming from the person you're in the relationship with and from yourself. Same thing. Oh my gosh, the best teams at work. If you take out fair, take the word fair out of your vocabulary, it doesn't exist anyway. Generosity. How do I fill my cup up and then overflow and give from that overflow? When you have this kind of mutual initiation of wanting to fill your own cup full with whatever it is you need and offering from the overflow, and the other person does the same thing, it's this beautiful shared responsibility for this entity called the relationship, whether it's you and a teammate or you and an employee or you and your spouse. It's like this whole third entity that you're mutually giving to lovingly. 2 more shifts I'll invite you to explore. Shift 3, from proving to receiving. This is a big one. If you cannot receive love, if you cannot receive support, care, or consistency, you cannot fully receive success either. And you might say, oh, I have no problem receiving. I want to ask you, do you ever feel guilty when somebody does something for you, like you have to pay them back somehow? Or if they give you a compliment, you got to make an excuse. Oh, well, oh, your hair looks great. Oh, yeah, well, I'll tell my parents, they have good genetics. If you can't receive a compliment, if you can't receive help without feeling having to pay back, it's going to be really hard for you to fully receive success. You're always going to be thinking you got to do more, got to do more, got to do more. So many entrepreneurs think they got to do more, and it's never enough. It's never over. So let's practice this instead. Practice letting yourself be supported, letting yourself be imperfect. Perfection doesn't exist anyway. Can you celebrate imperfection? Can you let yourself be complimented and chosen? Just play with those. And the last shift is from familiar. This is important, guys, from familiar to future. So many people think that, oh, well, I used to be in consulting. It's like, well, I've done this for 20 years. And so based upon my experience, we should do X, Y, and Z. Well, if you want to keep producing the past, that's great. But if you want to innovate, or if you want to attract the future you desire, and it's different from the past, you have to be thinking in a new way. You have to be open. I call it divergent thinking, open to receive, open to knowing that there's so much that you don't know. Allowing yourself to grow and learn. So for this familiar future, ask yourself, would my future self choose this? Would my future self choose this relationship? Would my future self choose this business decision? Think about who you really want to be in the future, and then operate today as if you were already them. That will attract the future you desire to your present much faster than the familiar past, the stuck operating procedure. Your healthy operating procedure is the one that your healthiest, most limitless you self from the future will start choosing today. Because I want you to not just survive, I want you to thrive. So if you want to keep surviving, you choose from the past. If you want to go beyond survival and into thriving and expansion, and have that alignment with that future self you choose from the future. Part 5, how healthy love accelerates business success. This is where it all comes beautifully together. Let me show you why what we've been talking about matters so much. Strategically, physically, emotionally, spiritually, it all comes together. It all impacts each other. You cannot separate mind, body, and spirit. So when you are emotionally safe at home, your sleep improves, your nervous system stabilizes or regulates, your cognition sharpens, you get greater clarity, your creativity expands, your imagination becomes yours again. And through that, your leadership, that will expand. Your vision will expand. It will align. This isn't a Yvonneism. This is proven neuroscience. A regulated nervous system allows your prefrontal cortex, the responsible part for strategy, judgment, planning, innovation, to function optimally because it's not running on old patterns from the past. So healthy love does something extraordinary. It increases your leadership capacity, not through hustling, not through performing, right? Through biology. It's how you were built, how you were designed. The right relationship does not slow down your ambition. It doesn't distract you. It actually will stabilize your nervous system so you can align. And perhaps you won't go full speed ahead down the wrong path, only to find that out many years later. You'll align to the path that feels most profound for you, most aligned and fulfilling, and you'll begin going down that path. So here's another tool to take action right now today. Let's start with your pattern map. Write down your last 3 serious relationships, the emotional dynamic in each of them, and how you felt most often. And if you haven't had 3 serious relationships, think about the relationship you've had with yourself as it's changed over time and with others around you, or perhaps in your business. Ask, what role do I keep playing? Are you the caretaker, the chaser, the overgiver, the avoider? Awareness is going to break that repetition. So we're going to start with that realization. That's our realize step. And then the next step is your recode step, the nervous system reset, the upgrade. Ask yourself, what do I need right now to feel regulated? What do I need right now to feel calm, happy, complete? Just, I want to make sure you understand this word regulated. It's almost like peaceful. There's nothing to be done. And then you give it to yourself. So what do you need right now to feel it's okay to be still? Could it be breath? I always choose breath. It's so amazing. Movement. Could be a gentle walk. Could be a brisk walk. Could be yoga. Could be pickleball. Whatever it is. Movement's so powerful. Maybe it's rest. Meditation. Setting some healthy boundaries so you stop saying yes when you really mean no. Maybe just a little silence. Whatever it is for you right now, give it to yourself. Because that's you tuning in to your frequency that feels good. And when you're tuned into the frequency that feels good to you, you will attract more of that frequency of what feels good to you. And then the third step. So we've done the realization, we're doing the recode, and now we're doing the rewrite. Let's put in the aligned love filter. Before deepening any relationship or taking any action, ask yourself, do I feel emotionally safe? Can I be honest without fear? Are my boundaries respected? Does this expand my life? If the answer is unclear, that is already your answer. As we come to the end of this masterclass, I want to bring you back to one simple truth. You're not here to survive in a relationship. You're here to thrive in them, to attract them, to be supported by them. The most powerful leaders I know, the entrepreneurs who scale with the least burnout, the people who live with the most clarity and peace, almost always have one thing in common. They choose relationships that regulate their nervous system instead of activating their old wounds. They choose something that doesn't just feel good in the short term and then like a roller coaster thereafter. Something that they can feel like they're always vibrating at this high frequency of love and peace. And that choice changes everything. Because the relationships you choose going forward will shape your energy, your nervous system, your leadership, your capacity, your future, your business. So let me leave you with this invitation to stop choosing love that feels familiar and start choosing love that supports who you are becoming. Bring the future that you want to the present today, to stop building from survival and start building from alignment. So to stop trying to prove and to just start being and receiving. Remember, the right relationships don't slow your ambition. They stabilize your nervous system so your vision and your power and your energy can expand. I'll leave you with this. Remember, you do not attract what you want. You attract what you are. In order to become what you want, your nervous system needs to feel safe in doing so. So try the practices we learned today. Find your peace, and in your peace, you will find your power. And then you can be open to receive all the blessings that are coming your way. And that is how you're going to create your limitless life and a business that truly feels like you, or becomes a vocation, not just an occupation. Thank you for being here. And more importantly, thank you for choosing yourself. And remember, you're not alone. If you need any support, you can reach out and set up some time to connect at unlocklimitlessyou.com/call.